Hi yogis, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to my channel, Alana Kane Yoga. So if you are a current follower, you know that I mainly teach yin yoga on my YouTube channel. However, I've gotten some requests to do some other tutorials on how to get into forearm stand, which is one of my favorite inversions. I prefer this over a headstand just because I had some neck injuries in the past, and forearm stand just seems to be fairly easy for me. So what I'm going to do is take you step by step on how to get into it. I would recommend that you do some chest opening, some upper back, some downward facing dogs, some dolphins to prepare and get into this. I might film a flow for this specifically afterwards, but for now I'm just going to break down the step by step so it's a quick, easy video. If you have a block, I would grab it. I am using just a book because I do not have a block with me right now. I'm traveling in Sri Lanka, so grab a book. If you have a wall, you might want to set up next to the wall, especially if you've never done this. Forearm stand does take a lot of strength as far as the shoulders, the arms really pushing out through the shoulder blades. So it's really important to open the chest, the upper back, and the shoulders here. And it's going to take time, so if you don't get it today, just keep practicing. I didn't get it the first time I tried, so it's all about practice, kind of understanding what you need to work on and moving forward. So if you're at a wall, I don't have one here unfortunately, you can set your mat up right against it so that your legs are going up onto it. So let's get started. To find your main position, the best thing is to take the hands to the elbows, placing them on the mat, and then your arms are coming right out from the elbows. So it's kind of like a Sphinx pose, but we're going to push up into Dolphin. So Sphinx pose arms, push the hips up like a downward facing dog, let the head hang in between the arms. Notice how that feels, opening the back. So to increase your strength here, you can do dolphin push-ups to planks. You can do some abs, lifting one leg, crunching in. But that's all for another video. So from your dolphin, we're going to work on getting the weight over our shoulders. That's your most important part. So really feeling how the weight over your shoulders feels. So maybe just doing a couple lifts up with the hips, coming onto the toes, and pushing forward through the arms. Seeing if you can get the hips as close as possible to being in one line over the shoulders. So maybe do a couple toes up, just noticing how it feels, and maybe coming back to downward facing dog, maybe taking a child's pose, noticing the strength that it takes. So if you do have your block or your book, I like to place it right in between my thumbs. That's a good spot for the hands to be when you're in this. Okay, so after you've kind of figured out the weight, you can maybe start to lift the foot, do some little hops. Notice how that feels. We want to be really in control when we get into it. So the little hops are kind of a nice way to find the balance. And then maybe having some larger hops. So if the wall's behind you, then this shouldn't be too scary. Keep working on those kind of frog jumps up with one leg until you feel really stable over your shoulders and your core is nice and engaged. So if you don't feel strong enough to do it, just stay here at this step. Work on really building that strength, getting the weight over the shoulders until maybe you can stay here for a few seconds. So once you're there, again, be patient with yourself. This isn't going to happen overnight unless you're already pretty strong and into your yoga practice. So the next step is putting it all together. So the key for the forearm stand is to really push from the hands and the forearms. So you're really pushing it out of the shoulder blades. So if you usually are like this in Sphinx or in a lot of poses, if you're slouched a lot, you want to really have this movement of kind of pushing, if you notice the difference from here to here. So that's really what we want to be doing the whole time, even during all those drills. So you start to walk your feet in, and with control, I'm going to gently lift a leg one at a time and come into the full expression of the pose. Maybe it takes you a couple times, and then push with the arms, looking forward, toes come together, tight core, really pushing out with the shoulders. And slowly coming back down, maybe finding child's pose. If your feet are hitting the wall, it's okay to have an arch in the forearm stand. So just try to work on getting the feet away from the wall if they do touch, if you go too far over. What happens a lot of time with me is I kick my leg too hard and I go over. So show you what that looks like. This is what you don't want to do. Or I start playing with back bending and I go over. Which is a fine alternative if you're very flexible in your back. But you don't have to worry about your neck in forearm stand like you would a headstand, fold and bend over. So you can try those at home. Again, it's super fun, especially when you start working on it. And then you can start doing hollow back things, trying to reach the toes to the head. So I'll play around a little bit so you can see. Just some party tricks, I like to call it. So yeah, I hope you have fun trying this out. It's a quick tutorial. If you have any questions, drop them below. If you want to see any other tutorials, let me know. And be sure to hit subscribe if you want to see more from me. Thank you, namaste.